Welcome back. You're watching the evening edition on K24. Time to take the account of the Secretary General of the Kenya County Assemblies Forum, who is Chepkwony. Your time is well appreciated, and many thanks for making time on the broadcast.
Thank you.
The 7th Annual Devolution Conference is happening in Chepkwony starting on Tuesday next week. The theme is multi-level governance for climate action. How do you intend to go about that?
Thank you, Ayub, and thank you for having me today at K24. I wish to, confirm that the Devolution Conference, the 7th Devolution Conference, is going down next week from Tuesday to Friday in Chepkwony. And the theme, as you said, is on climate action. And the intention of this, and we want to really appreciate the leadership of Council of Governors, having come up in consultation with the stakeholders and players in the environment and climate issues for us to be able to arrive at that decision to have that as a theme. And it would interest you, Ayub, that this discussion we had before COVID-19, and even so before the COP26. Coincidentally, this now is coming after COP26. Someone would imagine this has been informed by the decisions and the conference that happened in COP26. But if it was not for COVID-19, the same theme would have been discussed as of last year, even before COP26. And so this decision was arrived based on the previous Devolution Conference themes that we have had progressively from the 1st to the 6th. And this discussion was arrived at in view of the challenges that we are seeing as the stakeholders in the devolution family, and also governments in the counties, that there is need for us to take action on the uprising on the issue of climate action, and that we appreciate that there is nothing much that we have been able to do for the 8 years of devolution.
Since the inception of the devolved system of governance. But then there is one aspect which is very key, and this is the underpinning factor, funding.
Yes, I think the reason why then we would want to have a serious decision, and if you look through what the county governments have done, the county assemblies and county executives, in view of that now, to respond to that issue of the funding, we have come up with legislations to enable now the expenditure and budgeting by the county governments to allow between 1 to 3% of development vote to climate action initiatives. And the challenge has been the amount of money that goes to the county government. Can we be able to really allocate that money? And again, how much money has been retained at the national government on issues of climate action? And how can we be able then to channel these funds to the counties? And out of stakeholder engagements, then the reasoning was, can we be able to establish then structures at the county level to the village level that can be able then to attract funding? Or in view, in future, the discussions that have been ongoing globally is that we need to be able to fund these initiatives to the village. And so the structures have been put in place through legislations that have been done by the county.
Are they then heeding the call? Because it's very important. When you look and read through the Auditor General's report on the control of budget, there are cases where lack of financial prudence is adversely mentioned because of corruption, and members of the county assemblies who often travel abroad for trips that they say is meant to learn how other governance systems which are equally federal or systems that are federalist in nature are, then are they heeding these calls? Because it's very important. If you're not going to address the climate aspect, then it causes crisis. This crisis is conflict. The conflict then will rage into large-scale instability. Are they conscious of that fact?
I can tell you, Ayub, that this notion that the members of county assemblies travel abroad or to foreign countries for capacity building or for sightseeing, all that, it is all innuendos. The truth is, the county assemblies have the exclusive budget away from that of the development vote in the counties. And so our budgets are so separate. There is no day that my allowances, if I'm paid an allowance to sit in the county assembly or perform my duties, which is rightfully mine, that will affect the development vote in the county. If we are not able to do today water projects in the world, it's not because I travel out of the country. No, I am traveling outside the country within the budget that was allocated to the county assembly.
Budgeting, I agree with you. Budgeting is very key. But then the point is, are they custodians who are conscious that we need also budgeting to address or mitigate climate change and the effects?
You see, Ayub, I agree that everyone now is awake none of us in this country is not alive to the fact that the climate change and the effects of the global warming is here with us. Okay. All of us appreciate that fact. And that is why, in response to that, all county assemblies, a majority, up to about 30 county assemblies, have been able to enact legislation, aware that they will be required to allocate funds. That's clear response that, yes, they agree that there is need for that. Okay,
then let's touch on this because this is very important. It's not only a county assembly aspect, it's also a government aspect because the president on the sidelines of the COP26 climate conference in Glasgow, Scotland, also pledged to raise 500 billion Kenya shillings from countries such as Kenya, Botswana, Gabon, and Ethiopia. But then the Mau forest is the lungs of the country. 6 million lives depends on that for their water. But there is an ongoing commercial and smallholder agriculture and ranching and timber plantation. This is adversely affecting the immense values of the Mau forest. How do you then engage with other stakeholders, including the national government, to address this matter?
I am happy to confirm to you, Ayub, that I am one of the people who lives by the Mau circuit in the Rift Valley. And yes, there has been a lot of deforestation done on Mau, and we have seen the effects. And we want to appreciate government for the action they have taken, and even the civil society, the conservationists that have come up to cry fall on the issue of Mau forest. And we have seen now the action that has been taken by government for the last 4 years, it is bearing fruits. I will tell you, I was born by the forests in Tinderet. Okay. That is part of the Mau circuit.
Nandi County.
And in Nandi County. Okay. And the rivers that when I was growing up were huge that we could not be able to cross. As we speak, those rivers, even a 3-year-old, 5-year-old kid can easily crawl across the river.
So you appreciate the impact?
There is a lot of impact, I can assure you. Even the mudslides and the drought that we are seeing. The temperatures, I can tell you, from Nandi now, we are seeing temperatures up to 30. That is not normal for us because we are used to between 20 and 25. So it is clear that everyone is being affected and we can all be able to see the effects of global warming and we need to take action.
Okay, much of course to talk about in the forthcoming Devolution conference, and Chepkwony, your time is all appreciated. Many thanks. Of course, this is an extensive topic, but may I then give you these very important 2 minutes so that we wrap things up here on the broadcast. And you talked about the Mau, and I cited that because it's very important in regards to this research by Center for International Forestry Research, CIFRO, which said that the Mau forms upper catchment of 12 rivers that is in the country, feeds 5 major lakes in the country, including Lake Victoria, which is the source of the Nile River. And I'm sure you have recently witnessed the standoff between Ethiopia and Egypt in regards to the dam being built by the Abiy government, which costs more than $2 billion US, and then the friction that has led in terms of natural resources. Going forward after or post the Devolved System of Governance Conference in Chepkwony County, what do you think will be some of the very resolute response from the stakeholders in the country and beyond?
I think importantly that we are looking forward in the Devolution conference, now that we are bringing together the stakeholders, both at the national, sub-national, and even global, to this, and following the COP26 resolutions and commitments that were made, I think it would be important that we are able to share in that Devolution conference our experiences from the various county governments and even the actions that we have been able to take. Now we have heard that we are talking about 2 million trees, and the 2 millionth tree is going to be planted by the president on the day of the opening of the conference. So it is a platform that we are going to share and learn from each other and take action. And all county governments are going to make commitments. That is why, as a build-up to the Devolution conference, it was a challenge to the county assemblies and county governments to be able to enact the legislation, put up structures, so that as we report on the Devolution conference, we are able then to commit on action that can be followed up. And we are looking at the funding that you mentioned from the COP26 commitments, that then these structures are going to enable the absorption of the funds, and also that we are able to see the action that is being done at the ground level. Because for the longest, we have been talking about climate action on the SDGs because that's one of the SDGs, but it has been at the national level. But the effects are not only national. It is at the village and at the county level.
And it will lead to internally displaced person. That again becomes tomorrow's refugees, and then it's a burden either on the national government, extra counties, or even outside the borders of the country. And we look forward to that very important conference, and we will be in the county of Chepkwony to cover that important event forthcoming on Tuesday next week at the Chepkwony Boys High School in county number 17. Chepkwony, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayub, for hosting.
And when we come back from the break on the evening edition, we take a look at what's in the business basket for us here on the broadcast. Stay tuned.